Stay where you are. Our feature film begins shortly, see?
Good evening. It's no mystery that you can watch great old black and white whodunit movies from the 1930s and 40s. Right here on Hastings Mystery Theatre.
Now here's our comment of the month. Keep 'em coming.
Good evening. Welcome to Hastings Mystery Theater. I'm your host and mystery master, Randall Schaefer.
Tonight, the corridors of mystery take us back to 1953 this time for a Portland Pictures production distributed by Monarch Film Corporation of the UK entitled Charade. Not to be confused with the 1963 Cary Grant film, this film was written and starred James Mason and his wife, Pamela. We are going to break the rules tonight, or at least bend them a little. We are only showing the first part of this combined three-part collection of short stories. The first is a murder mystery. The others were different genres. This one is titled Portrait of a Murderer, and here's how it goes. A cynical young artist absent-mindedly sketches her neighbor, who, unbeknownst to her, is a murderer. What could happen here? Here's a bit of info on James Mason. Born May 15th, 1909, in Huddersfield, Yorkshire, England, he was a distinguished British actor known for his distinctive voice and captivating performances in both British and American films spanning over 5 decades. Initially studying architecture, he transitioned to acting, becoming a prominent figure in British cinema during the 1940s before achieving international fame. Mason was best known in British cinema with films like The Man in Grey in 1943, The Wicked Lady in 1945, and Odd Man Out in 1947. Despite his success, some biographies suggest he often felt restless and struggled with personal relationships, including a turbulent marriage to Pamela Mason. He continued acting until his death in 1984 at age 75. Let's return to 1953, and I hope you enjoy this short presentation of Portrait of a Murderer.
The Arc de Triomphe. What could be nicer?
Now Paris is lovely again. I can sit by my window and enjoy the pale September sunshine. Only a few weeks ago, I was desperate and ready to throw myself in the river. Even the glitter of Paris could no longer find a reflection in my unhappy, lonely spirit. But now all that has changed. I can explore the scene of my failure with bright eyes and a pounding heart, because I know that soon he'll be with me again. When I first came to Paris 5 years ago, I imagined I'd have no difficulty selling my work. I couldn't even sell those trash baskets I painted. I completely failed. The nuns are looking after her. She must be quite a big girl now. I was going to say I married this man, but more correctly, he married me because I didn't love him. Sometimes I give lessons on the piano. I never play for my own pleasure, because the girl in the next room played all day long. She played Viennese waltzes very badly. She kept making mistakes and going back. She murdered Strauss, and I remember thinking, how nice it would be if someone murdered her. Which brings me to my story. I wasn't in the habit of listening to my neighbors' conversations, but it was a hot night and I couldn't sleep. There was a man in the room with her, and it must have been he who was playing the piano. It was very different from the way she played. There was something about his voice that intrigued me. They were both speaking French, but it seemed to me that the man spoke with an English accent. I could swear it. I never slept at all that night. Early in the morning, I heard the concierge knock on my neighbor's door. There was no answer, so she opened the door and went in. Then she let out a scream that was enough to waken the whole district. She screamed for the police, the ambulance, the fire brigade, and from then on it was like the monkey house at the zoo. I felt strangely excited. I had a secret. I knew the man who'd caused this commotion. I could remember just how his face looked as he stood under the naked light in the corridor. There was a bond between this man and myself. He came from the same country, spoke the same language, shared my secret. I didn't want to lose my newly found importance and my pride of ownership. For the man with the English voice belonged to me. Not to these monkeys who squealed and chattered in the corridor and on the staircase. I wasn't going to give him up to them. I told the police that I'd slept soundly all night. I'd heard nothing, seen no one. The exhilaration stayed with me. I even managed to sell some paintings. And I made up my mind to save the money I'd earned and go back to England. I had no right to expect ever to see my Englishman again. But his constant presence in my subconscious mind drew me away from Paris to a background where our paths were more likely to intersect. Suddenly, my life stood still. It said in the paper that a man had been taken into custody and charged with the murder of Marie Delbecq. That was the girl in the next room. The man's name was Jean-Marie Partigan.
Excusez-moi, pouvez-vous m'indiquer où se trouve le bistrot le plus proche où la nourriture est excellente? Je suis nouveau dans ces parages.
Je peux que mon français ne soit pas très bon.
Do you speak English?
I am English.
So am I.
Well, then perhaps you'd tell me again all that you were just trying to tell me.
I've just rented the room next to yours, and not being familiar with the district, I wondered if you could recommend a good bistro in the street.
You rented that room?
Yes. Why'd you say it like that? Is there any reason why I shouldn't?
No. Oh, didn't anyone tell you?
Tell me what?
It's no business of mine. But the girl who had the room before was killed. Murdered.
Yes, I rather gathered that from something the concierge let slip.
Won't that put you off?
Quite honestly, no. Poor woman, she was trying so hard to keep it from me.
Aren't you afraid that, won't it make you feel...
You mean, won't I be afraid of being haunted by the spirit of the dead woman? No, I don't think I will be. Being accustomed to cheap lodgings, I've cultivated an unawareness of my surroundings, which is sometimes extremely helpful.
I was just making some coffee. Would you like to join me?
Thank you very much, I would. Did you do this?
Yes, it's just a sketch.
It's very striking. The effect of the light on the man's head. I like it. Perhaps that's because it looks a bit like me. Or am I flattering myself?
No, I think I see what you mean. Something about the eyes and the jawline.
Is it from life? I mean, did you use a model? Is it someone you know?
Oh, no. It's just an experiment in light and shade. Just an exercise.
Well, if you're planning to finish it and would like to use a real live model, don't forget your new neighbor.
I'll take you up on that.
Just knock on the wall and I'll come running. Thank you.
I learned a lot about this man in the first few days I knew him. That is, I learned all the things about which I had no great curiosity. At present, he worked in the Paris office of an American travel agency. It was the quiet season, and he had time on his hands. He could relax and do nothing, just as he was doing now. Max, has anyone ever really known you? Max?
Do you mind repeating the question? I was a long way away.
Yes, I could see you were. I asked if anyone had ever really known you. I can imagine a woman being married to you for years and years and knowing less about you at the end of it than she did at the beginning. Have you ever allowed anyone to unravel you?
Anyone's welcome to try. I would have thought I was quite easy to unravel, though I have to admit my wife didn't get very far.
Your wife? I didn't know you had a wife.
I haven't. She died. It was strictly a surface relationship. As I recall, she had a very attractive surface. I can't say that I've missed her.
You have a way of saying things I never know whether you're serious or not.
You think I'm trying to camouflage my deeper thoughts?
Yes.
Very well, I'll make a bargain with you. I'll tell you exactly what's in my mind if you'll oblige me in the same way.
I'll risk it.
First of all, there's a recurrent thought that's been pestering me all afternoon. I've been saying to myself, next time she takes the brush out of her mouth, I shall have to kiss her. Then there's a bigger thought that's been droning away like a theme song. It goes like this. Aye, but to die, and go we know not where, to lie in cold obstruction and to rot, this sensible warm motion to become a kneaded clod.
Well, I'm not very flattered. One breath you say you want to kiss me, and then turns out you've been rehearsing some gloomy piece about death in the back of your mind.
Do you know what day it is today?
Wednesday, isn't it?
Just a day like any other day. Is there nothing special about it?
No, is there?
A man is on trial for his life. The case opened today.
Oh, yes, that.
Had you forgotten?
Oh, I hadn't forgotten. I just hadn't thought about it. I hardly knew her. It's no reason why it should concern me.
Yes, but you're an artist. You have imagination, curiosity, haven't you? To cause death is such a simple trick. But the act of dying is a challenge to the intellect. The newspaper owner has the highest regard for death in all its forms, but especially for one that's passionately executed. Now, here's today's evening paper, and characteristically, someone has left it open at page 2, where the headline reads, Partigon Trial opens today.
Yes, I read it. But I'm not like the average newspaper reading public. I get no kick out of murders.
Not even a murder so close to home?
No.
Now, answer me this, and remember that we're supposed to be telling each other the truth this afternoon. Do you always buy the evening paper?
Not always.
And you get no kick reading about murders?
No.
Well, I do. I got to talking to one of the inspectors on this case. Would you like me to tell you how I think this Partigon went about it, reconstruct the crime, as they say?
How can I stop you?
What were you doing that night? Was anyone with you, or were you alone?
I was alone.
Well, didn't you hear anything? Strangulation's no child's play. Chairs fall over. Things get broken.
I heard nothing. I was asleep all night.
It was a hot night, as I recall.
I never have any trouble sleeping.
Not even when she played the piano?
How do you know she played the piano?
The concierge told me. I gather she didn't play very well.
Do you know Invitation to the Dance?
I know how it goes.
That was her favorite piece. Play it for me.
I have a beautiful piano in my own room, and I can't play a note of music. Sickening, isn't it? I'll take you out to dinner now. You've done enough painting for one day. We can reconstruct the crime over the dessert.
I I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was he who had played so beautifully that night. I knew that he must have murdered Mari Delbecq. Although he did not reconstruct the crime over the dessert as he'd threatened, indeed the subject was not discussed for several days, I knew that sooner or later he would return to it. I loved the worst thing in life. A man who was so sick that he could murder a fellow creature and having done so would rather haunt the scene than run away to the ends of the earth. Perhaps I'm sick too. I didn't tell the police what I knew. I haven't run away. I don't love him in spite of what he's done. I love him because of it. During the air raids in the last war, there were many women who were well aware that the whole thing was hateful and horrifying, and yet dreaded to return to the emptiness of life without bombs. One day his frightening talk of death will start again, and I seem to be waiting with a morbid longing for the next bomb to drop. Entree? Oh, darling. I get so lonely when you're gone all day. Where have you been?
Even during the quiet season, there's work to be done. People have started making reservations at Chamonix for the winter sports. I brought you an evening paper. There's something in it that I thought might amuse you. Seeing that your French is so bad, I'll translate. The fire engine slowed down and came to a standstill in the Place Chambige. What had they come here to do, ces braves pompiers, these brave firemen? A little black and white cat was lodged in the branches of a high tree. The hero of the hour ascends the ladder as if carried on wings and brings the cat down. The owner, weeping copiously, clutches the cat against his heart. But the cat, still distressed by its adventure, scratches the owner on the cheeks and neck and leaps out of his arms and runs down the street. The efforts of the brave firemen have been to no avail. Evidently, fate had singled out this animal for destruction, for, in crossing the Avenue Montaigne, it collides with a taxicab, and a passing truck then extinguishes its life.
What a horrible story. I wish you hadn't read it out to me.
Oh, I'm sorry, darling. I suppose I should have known better. I keep forgetting that to the average woman, the death of a cat is far more affecting than the death of a human being. The poor beetle that we tread upon in corporeal sufferance finds a pang as great as when a giant dies. This paper's full of jolly little items tonight. Did you see the headline? The jury retires.
Is it all over then? Are there no more witnesses?
Partagon was the last witness. He was on the stand for 3 hours. He's had it, I'm afraid.
Oh, he's a horrible-looking little man, isn't he? Those eyes. Says here he was a hero of the resistance during the war.
He's also spent 10 years of his life in jail. Robbery, forgery, assaulting policemen.
Yes, but never anything like this.
Well, who knows how many people he's killed? Do you know how many unsolved murders take place in Paris each year?
No.
Neither do I. But you can be sure that the police are not as omniscient as they would have you believe. We know that Partagon was a past master at knifing Germans in the back. That, of course, doesn't count. That was during the open season.
I want to read what he says.
Why don't you pour the coffee while I summarize the evidence for you? Only one interesting thing came out. At the speed you read French, it'll take you all night to get to it. The prosecution established that Partagon had been seen entering the building at 9:30. That he'd been drinking heavily, and that the police picked him up out of the gutter outside the bar on the next corner at 12:30. He'd been seen several times in the company of the murdered girl, and once had been heard quarreling and threatening violence. He was known to have a jealous disposition, and Marie Delbecq was not strictly a one-man girl. Partagon himself was the only witness for the defense, and on the stand gave an extremely impressive performance, lucid and even gallant. You could see that the jury wanted to believe him. His words had the ring of truth about them.
You say that as if you were there.
I was. I slipped into the back of the court. As a matter of fact, I've been there throughout the trial, on and off. Now, to come to the interesting part of Partagon's testimony.
But you never told me.
Told you what?
That you'd been to the trial.
I didn't think you'd be interested.
I want it to be over.
He hasn't a chance. There were only 2 men living in the house at the time. and both of them had perfect alibis. Partagon was the only man seen leaving or entering the house that night. All the residents were questioned by the police, including yourself, I understand. And none of them admitted to having heard or seen anything unusual. No commotion, no comings and goings, nothing. Now, suppose that one of these residents suffered a change of heart and suddenly remembered things that he or she had heard that night, but which in the tumult she'd suppressed. Perhaps she'd been protecting someone, her boyfriend, say. And now, pricked by conscience, she went to the police and made a full report. Do you think they'd believe her?
I don't know. I don't see what this has to do with anything. I thought you were going to tell me about Partagon's evidence.
The answer is no, they wouldn't believe her.
So?
So Partagon hasn't a chance. At least he wouldn't have had without the rather exciting statement he made towards the close of his testimony.
Oh, what was it? What did he say?
He said that as he was leaving the building, he brushed up against a man who was standing just inside the doorway. Although he was drunk, he remembered having tried to get into conversation with this man, but the man wouldn't answer. He just stood there quietly, and after a moment he moved away and started up towards the stairs.
But did he describe the man?
He tried to, but there was evidently nothing very distinctive about the man's appearance. No major disfigurements, no heavy mustache. Only one thing. Partagon said that the man was carrying a bunch of white flowers. That's an interesting touch, isn't it?
Yes, but I don't see how it's likely to help him. The flowers are not likely to be a permanent feature.
Exactly. And Partagon could easily have invented them because the police were known to have found a vase of marguerites in the girl's room. You know what marguerites are?
Yes, they're like big daisies, aren't they?
Yes. They're very pretty flowers. I like them. But you see the point I'm trying to make. This story is absolutely no use to him as it stands, but if there had been anyone who'd seen a man in the building that night, and if that man could be produced for identification...
Oh, darling, please don't go on about it. You said yourself Partagon hasn't a chance. And in this country, the accused is guilty till he proves himself innocent. Isn't that true?
Yes, that's true.
Well, then he'll never do that. If anyone else did see the man with the white flowers, they're going to keep quiet about it. Of all her neighbors, I'm most likely to have seen her visitors. They have to go past my room, and half the time I don't even keep my door shut. And I saw no one. I told you. If the man with the white flowers really exists, and if he has any sense, he's thousands of miles away by now, probably in another country.
He might have to live here. He might earn his living here. He might be emotionally attached to this quarter. He might even be an unusual type, a poet or a dreamer. You've no right to impute common sense to people you know nothing about.
Oh, don't go on about something we all want to forget.
Speak for yourself.
All these pointless speculations. Even if Partagon goes to the guillotine, no one will ever really know whether he's guilty or not.
The man with the bunch of marguerites will know. He'll go on knowing. He'll live in fear that someone else knows.
He doesn't exist, my darling. I swear it. Oh, my love, don't let's talk about it anymore.
I'm sorry. I won't say another word. I should have stopped when you asked me to.
Let's go away. Oh, Max, let's go far away. This is a sad place for me. I've hated it for years. Before you came and took the room next door, I was so lonely, so desperate. I had nothing to live for. Everything I touched failed. I hated all the dirty, sordid people who lived in this horrible house. I hated to hear them laugh, knowing that they were happy, while only I was utterly lonely. I failed as a wife and as a mother. And I failed as a painter, too. Let's go to England, Max. I haven't been there for 5 years. Sometimes now I feel a dreadful longing not to be a foreigner anymore. Take me there, Max. Max.
I like Paris. I don't find it sordid. On the contrary, I find it stimulating. I like the September sunshine, and the laughter, and the flowers. Why'd you look at me like that?
The piano.
Oh, I'm inconsiderate, forgive me. That was the waltz she played, wasn't it? I've stopped now. I don't think you should regard yourself as a failure. I think you're a very good painter. I'll show you what I mean. Where's that sketch you did of me?
What sketch?
You know the one I mean. Before you started that canvas, you did a sketch. Remember, you were working on it when I first came into your room. The effect of the light on my head, it's very clever.
Oh, that wasn't of you. That was just...
Of course. It was just a man. I remember you telling me. Where is it?
I don't know. I probably threw it away.
It's in that corner among the canvases. Get it for me. Quickly. I want to look at it again. Come here. Closer to me. I want to put my arm around you. Now, do you see anything funny about this sketch? I think it's a delightful touch. I spotted it at once.
Whatever it is, it must be an accident. It was just a quick sketch.
You know now, don't you? You spotted it, too. You didn't realize it first, but now you get the implication.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What's that? Answer me, what is it?
It's just a flower. Just a flower in a man's buttonhole. Just something I imagined. Lots of men wear flowers.
No, they don't. They wear roses, yes, and carnations, sometimes even gardenias. But how often do you see a man with a daisy in his buttonhole? That's a marguerite, unmistakably. This isn't an imaginary sketch. You didn't imagine that flower. You saw it in my buttonhole when I came out of her room and paused on the landing under the light, facing your open doorway.
Let me forget it, Max. I can make myself believe it never happened. I swear no matter what you do, I'll never give you away. I love you. You're the most wonderful thing that ever happened to me. I was never going to let you suspect what I knew. I wanted to keep you. That's why I lied to the police. Didn't you love me then? Wasn't it true then? You weren't just pretending to love me, were you?
No, I loved you. Although I knew it would have to end like this.
Oh, Max.
Because it has to end like this, and because you're more than a little mad, that makes you my perfect love. This is a love that will never wilt. It will survive like a pressed flower. I shall never learn that you're stupid or shallow or inconstant. Jealousy and disillusion will never make you hateful or dangerous. Now you can't even hear me say it. I love you. By your death, I swear it.
Monsieur le sergent, venez ici. Ceci est intéressant. Portrait of the murderer. Ça veut dire portrait de meurtrier. Qu'en pensez-vous?
Bon, je ne sais pas. C'est sans doute une femme très excentrique, vous savez. En tout cas, en bas l'essai et l'emmener au commissariat.
Well, did you like the movie? See you next time on Hastings Mystery Theater.